Yo, what's happening, everybody? Good morning from Irvine, California. I'm actually about to head up north to San Francisco to show my parents around, but if you guys are watching this video, probably you got clickbaited about my title, all right, why my dad was crying, or why I made my dad cry the other day when we were visiting Laguna Beach. Right in Orange County. But first of all, I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't yet, please make sure you do. Have a shit ton of great content coming out for you guys on drop shipping, Facebook ads, internet marketing, digital marketing, just all that great stuff. I'm literally gonna provide more value to you guys than anybody else, and that's a promise right there, all right? But the reason why this is gonna be a special video, it's gonna be a little bit personal, but and honestly, it's because I've never really seen my dad cry. All right, I'm not sure about you guys, but my dad is super fucking alpha. I've probably seen him cry like once or twice, and one time was because he was pretty much about to die. But and I want to share with you guys, right? Excuse me. I want to share with you guys a little bit of background on, because a lot of people also, you guys that have been commenting and asking me like where I'm from, what's my culture, what's my religion, blah blah. Not that it matters, but I was born and raised in Algeria, right? Third world country in North Africa, and just like any other third world country, there's hardly any opportunity, all right? But my dad was always the person that would try to go beyond, society's expectations. So he did have like a coffee shop, he has a farm, and he had a couple other things going, right? But he knew that his kids, right, me, my two older siblings, or my three older siblings, we're not gonna have a future in Algeria, all right? Literally, like, there is no such thing as the Algerian dream, or the American dream in Algeria is just like not possible to really do any type of entrepreneurship there unless you jump through hula hoops, and there's so much government corruption and stuff like that. Again, just like any other third world country. But the real reason why he brought us out here, obviously, was because he wanted us to get educated, all right? The education system in Algeria is fucking trash, and even if you did, graduate from Algeria, you really don't have much of an option, right? You don't really have much opportunity to like use the education for. So mostly people just end up like hanging out at coffee bars, whatever, just chilling all day, every day, and having absolutely no purpose. Right, people don't really have much of a purpose in Algeria. So he brought us out here. My oldest siblings, went to college, graduated, got the degrees and all that great stuff. And then here I come, right? Here I come, and I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm gonna drop out of school to move to California. All right, so you guys can only imagine his reaction when I told him I'm dropping out. He literally threatened to like disown me, not because he hated me or was upset at me, but because I went against his purpose, all right? Because he's super alpha again, and I went against his purpose of bringing us here. But in my mind, all right, when I was dropping out of schools, because I wanted to be able to provide my parents with experiences like these, to take them, to, bring them out to California. It's their first time visiting the West Coast, and it's been like 13-14 years since we've been in the United States. So once we went to Laguna Beach, he saw this beautiful, scenery and this beautiful, landscape and stuff, and it reminded him of Algeria, all right? And we were playing some throwback music from my pops that he used to listen to when he was younger back in Algeria, and he started tearing up. I was like, Dad, why are you crying? He's like, because this has been 14 years in the making. 14 years in the making to see, all of his kids, really have purpose, and to see his kids finally out of that fear of us being raised and growing up without a purpose. So the point of the matter, the whole reason why I'm making this video, guys, is because I want to let you guys know, right, that sometimes, or most of the time, right, your dreams and your visions, nobody else can understand, all right? Nobody can really understand why you're doing what you're doing. Not necessarily just for dropping out of college, but when I was starting my own business, and when I was quitting one business and trying another one, my parents would be like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just stick to this one business? And I'm like, because I don't fucking want to, and I want to experiment. I would never swear at my parents, but you know, just a kind of that attitude, because I feel like it's right for me. It's what's best for me. Now, your parents and your friends and your family definitely love you, but they might not always know what's best for you, okay? So make sure that when you guys are making a decision to do such a thing as starting your own business, or, you know, deciding to go to a school or not go to school, or you know, to join a specific you know, course or business, or invest all your money into something, most of the time people are not going to understand your intuition, your intentions, your vision, or anything like that. So the same way that my dad, right, when he was coming to America, everybody, all right, because he had a couple of good things going. He had a little coffee shop, he had a little farm that he was running. It was nothing serious, you know, but him dropping all that and bring us to the United States, all of his family, especially if you guys follow me on my Instagram, he actually shared the story. You guys could just follow me on, have my username below, it's Samir.Chibane on Instagram. I upload a shit ton of content on my IG story on a day-to-day basis, but my dad shared, you know, his story when he was coming out here, and he said, you know, his family thought he was crazy. They were like, dude, what are you doing? Your kids are gonna become drug addicts in America. They're gonna become drunkies. They're gonna fail. You don't know English. What are you gonna do over there? You don't have an education to support you over there. And they're just really telling him that it was an overall bad idea, all right? But literally, as soon as my dad got us the visa, he sold the house, the farm, or sorry, not the farm, we still have the farm, but he sold the house and the coffee shop for well below price value, just so that he could get us enough money to bring us here. All right, so even for him, when everybody else was telling him that he was wrong and he shouldn't, you know, do what he wants to do, he didn't listen to him, all right, because he had a vision for his family and himself and, you know, his kids' futures, that nobody else could tell him anything. All right, guys, so, you know, that really goes to show that sometimes, you know, what our parents tell us not to do is exactly what they've done when they were younger. But again, it's only because they really care for us and they really, you know, want us to succeed. And sometimes they're just afraid that we'll get hurt by going down a specific path, right? Like when I wanted to drop out, or when I dropped out, my dad was just a little afraid that I would be lost in this world, right? Lost in this world without an education, and I would be fucked if I didn't get a job, or, you know, didn't get a career, whatever the case may be. But, you know, their way of thinking is a little bit outdated, you know? And this is not any way to downtalk my parents, but, you know, it's simple truth, right? The same way that, you know, they kind of rebelled against their parents, and I always tell my dad, right, hey, I know you were probably a little rebel when you grew up, and he was, right? My dad was a huge rebel when he was growing up, and, you know, that just kind of transcended on to me. But again, guys, I just want to to share this story, not necessarily, I know it was a little bit of a clickbait title, but, you know, I really wanted to do two things. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, commenting, and liking my videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, just subscribe below. But I literally have tons